Good morning. Today is Wednesday, December 29th, and we're bringing you the latest news making headlines to help you start your day. Breaking right now, a 32-year-old man is dead after gunfire ripped through an apartment complex in DeKalb County overnight. Let's get straight out to our Tori Cooper, who has the very latest. She starts off our coverage in today's Morning News Rewind.
Yeah, family members gathered right here in the parking lot outside of the Glen Hollow apartment complex trying to figure out why anyone would want to harm their loved one, and they say he was taken far too soon.
I feel numb, it's senseless violence, it got to stop.
This is a picture of 32-year-old Bruce Gaines Jr., who family members say was shot to death in the Glen Hollow Circle Apartments last night in DeKalb County.
I'm gonna miss my nephew. I love my nephew. He was a good kid to me.
DeKalb County police detectives have not confirmed the identity of the victim, but they say there were at least 90 rounds of gunshots fired in and around the Glen Hollow apartment complex Tuesday night just before 11. Bullets flew through the windows of cars in the parking lot and hit multiple buildings. Detectives say 4 different guns were found at the scene, and they say multiple shootings happen monthly at this location, several of which appear to be retaliation. But family members say they don't know why anyone would want to harm Gaines, who is a father of 7, loving nephew, and just days away from his birthday.
My last conversation with him was like maybe 3 or 4 days ago. He got a birthday coming up Friday. Will be his 33rd birthday. And I asked him, I said, what you gonna do for your birthday? He said, Auntie, I just want to be here.
Now, the scene is all clear now, but detectives tell us that witness testimony is going to play a very key role in this investigation. They say right now they have a very strong lead on a suspect. Of course, we will continue to follow this developing story and share the very latest with you right here. Reporting live in DeKalb County, I'm Tori Cooper, CBS 46 News.
Very difficult to hear from his family there, Tori. Thank you so much. We know you'll stay on top of this investigation. There are at least 7 states now reporting record high daily infections, more cases than any time since the start of the pandemic. New York City has seen its COVID case average climb to more than 20,000 a day. That's nearly 11 times higher than last month. And we are getting a better understanding of the latest COVID guidance from the CDC. CBS 46's Sierra Cummings breaks down the agency's new recommendations as COVID cases surge.
Metro Atlanta is seeing COVID cases go from just a couple hundred only weeks ago to now thousands per day. The startling surge moved the city of Atlanta to its red zone plan. Fewer events and city offices opened, plus required masking indoors. It comes as the CDC announced new guidance. The isolation time is now cut in half. If you test positive, isolate for 5 days. If exposed and unvaccinated, quarantine for 5 days, plus 5 more of strict mask use. If exposed and fully vaccinated, quarantine 5 days as well. But if fully vaxxed and boosted, no quarantine needed, masking still recommended. Meanwhile, the CDC says regardless, a negative COVID test result isn't required, partly because access to testing itself proves to be a struggle.
Data suggests that with Omicron, you're most infectious a day or 2 before you get sick and for the first day or 2 after you've gotten sick. CDC makes guidance and recommendations in the real world, not the world that we wish existed. And right now, there aren't enough tests.
In Atlanta, Sierra Cummings, CBS 46 News.
Frontline workers and the airline industry have some concerns about these new guidelines. We'll have more on that in 10 minutes. We're just days away from 2022, but the Omicron variant is causing another economic crunch. Analysts say the national average for gas prices could hit the $4 mark by Memorial Day. Food prices are expected to climb 5% in the first half of the year due to ongoing supply chain distribution issues. Economists who have downgraded their forecast for early 2022 say they're keeping a close eye on how Capitol Hill reacts to the COVID surge. Now at 6:30, we're keeping an eye on today with the stories you need to know. Harry Reid, the former Senate Majority Leader who spent more than 3 decades in Washington, has died. Reid was Nevada's longest-serving member of Congress. The conservative Democrat was known as a tough deal maker on Capitol Hill. His wife says he died peacefully after a 4-year battle with pancreatic cancer. Flags at the U.S. Capitol are at half staff this morning. Harry Reid was 82 years old. An Atlanta UPS driver was kidnapped and tied up inside his own tractor trailer. APD says the truck was stopped at a red light when an armed stranger jumped in and forced him to drive to Bankhead Court. Then the suspect and other accomplices tied the driver up and stole cargo from the truck. The driver was found unharmed. Police are still searching for the suspects. The U.S. housing market continues to be hot for sellers. National home prices climbed more than 19% in October. Phoenix, Tampa, and Miami saw the biggest gains. Analysts say the rise is due to a combination of factors, including low interest rates, limited supply, and people looking to trade up for bigger spaces after being stuck in their homes during the pandemic. New York City's COVID surge continues to impact major Broadway productions. The Music Man is canceling performances until January after leading man Hugh Jackman tested positive for the virus. Musicals Ain't Too Proud, Waitress, and Jagged Little Pill are all ending their Broadway runs due to COVID. And thanks to top earners like Spider-Man No Way Home, 2021 box office revenue is way up over last year, but still down 61% from 2019. The domestic box office is expected to reach $4.4 billion through these last days of the year. Welcome back. The parents of the 14-year-old girl killed in a clothing store dressing room by a Los Angeles police officer's stray bullet are calling for justice. The victim, her mother and sister, arrived in the U.S. 6 months ago from Chile. Her father described his only child as a young girl excited about receiving good grades so she could one day become an engineer. Civil rights attorney Benjamin Crump is representing the family.
But her most important dream, as all of her family members have articulated, was to become an American citizen. And tragically, that would never happen.
Difficult words there. Police were aiming at an assault suspect who also died at the scene. The officer who fired the shot that killed Valentina has been placed on paid administrative leave. Now here's a live look at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport, where the recent surge in COVID cases has spurred another wave of delays and cancellations. The airline industry is taking a hit from the rapid rise in COVID cases. There have been more than 4,000 domestic cancellations since Christmas Eve, but there's some pushback on new COVID isolation guidelines from the Association of Flight Attendants.
How they are going to implement this to make sure that it is only for people who are asymptomatic, who are coming back to work, so that people are not forced to come back to work when they're still sick.
At midnight on December 31st, the Biden administration is lifting a ban on visitors from 8 countries in southern Africa. It was imposed after the Omicron variant was detected last month. Just as the U.S. cruise industry had gotten back out to sea, there's concern it could be shut down again thanks to the pandemic. The CDC has identified 90 cruise ships with COVID on board. The affected cruise lines include Disney, Carnival, Norwegian, and Royal Caribbean. CBS 46 is counting down every second, you see it there, until Georgia takes on Michigan in the Orange Bowl. The game just over 2 days away. And as the Dogs prepare to take on the Wolverines, we want to give you a look at Miami, specifically the area of Little Havana. CBS 46's Adam Murphy takes us inside the heart of Miami's Cuban culture.
On the outskirts of Miami, just 10 minutes west of the city, you'll find a place where dominoes are the main attraction. Spanish is the predominant language, and cigar bars are everywhere.
This is not an easy thing to do. People think it's very easy, but you become a master roller after 20 years.
Welcome to Little Havana, where the history is rich and the people are friendly.
It just has a lot of natural energy. I mean, everybody seems to have a certain joie de vivre, you know, they're just happy.
And why not? 8th Street, known as Calle Ocho, is home to authentic cuisine, Cuban coffee, and plenty of character.
First time, it's really cool. There's lots of culture, different restaurants, lots of great drinks. He loves cigars, so.
And while you're here, there are 3 things you have to try. Cuban coffee, perhaps the best in America, right here at a place called Havana Classic. Very sweet, a little sour, and stout. Obviously, you don't need very much, but it's really good. And as you take a stroll through town, there's no shortage of mojitos that will have you dancing in the streets.
It's strong. It took down the corner there about 10 minutes to make both of these. It's fantastic. It's fresh.
It's authentic.
Yeah.
Salud.
And last, but certainly not least, the classic Cuban sandwich. You'll find one of the best at Old Havana, where people line up for the traditional food and fun. Only 3 words needed to describe this Cuban sandwich. Boy, that's good. Some of the sights to see include the Walk of Fame, honoring distinguished Cubans, the Tower Theater, which greeted refugees in 1959, and Domino Park, where a simple game is like a sport.
We're very happy people, so people like that. You know, we're very humble and happy, and we're always smiling and making people happy, so that what makes it special.
I don't know what it is with all the people calling for a Michigan win, but we expect more fans to roll in later in the week as we get closer to the game on Friday. Beautiful scene right here along the Miami River, and we'll be here and we'll have all of the latest coverage for you. In Miami, Adam Murphy, CBS 46 News.
Atlanta police are investigating multiple crimes allegedly happening at a Midtown hotel. Atlanta police released 5 reports of larceny and theft incidences inside the Crown Plaza Atlanta Midtown off West Peachtree Street. Get this, according to those reports, some of those victims say their items were stolen from their hotel room while they were asleep. One person told police he awoke to a man wearing no shirt and a mask. When the man ran away, the victim realized credit cards were missing. Another woman says she was locked out of her room for a while. When she got back inside, her purse, along with hundreds of dollars, credit cards, and passport were gone.
We went to the next hotel. I couldn't even sleep. I was up literally all night. All night I was up, scared to death to close my eyes. I can't even sleep here. And this isn't even a hotel room. This is my home, and I'm still scared.
The hotel says it's adding 24-hour security and additional patrols to the property. And the country just hit a record 7-day average of new cases with more than 254,000 cases recorded. That's the highest ever over the course of the pandemic. In the past 24 hours, the Georgia Department of Public Health recorded more than 8,000 new COVID cases across the state. And COVID testing sites are seeing record traffic. Zach Summers explains how Georgia leaders are working to address the strain on those sites and hospitals.
As Georgians continue to wait in long lines for COVID-19 testing, and many hospital beds fill with positive patients who are unvaccinated.
The nurses most certainly have been on the front line for a very long time.
State leaders are working to increase testing capabilities and to ensure Georgia has the manpower needed to fight the virus. Governor Brian Kemp already authorized up to 2,500 Georgia Guard troops to be deployed for COVID-19 needs. His office says the state's Department of Community Health is now assessing where those troops are needed most, including at testing sites and hospitals.
My message to the governor is simple.
Meanwhile, President Biden, on Monday in a meeting with governors, vowed federal support, but insisted states need to take the lead on controlling the pandemic.
If you need something, say something. And we're going to have your back in any way we can.
Zach Summers, CBS 46 News.
Thanks for watching CBS 46 News. Watch us live wherever you are, our mobile and our streaming news app. You can also watch us on Roku, Apple TV, and Fire TV.